Al's back with us now. What's our tractor tale this week?
John, we've got a rare tractor from Michigan. This 1937 Hart-Parr 70 was one of the last of its kind. The owner is proud to have it as part of his collection of antique tractors.
It's the last tractor made by Oliver with the Hart-Parr name on it. This one is the last year production. It's also one of the few probably around still with steel wheels on it, front and rear. That was an option throughout, but they also had rubber tires available in 37. Electric start option, which was available 35 through 37. This one we bought with the rear steel on it, and it had front rubber, so we had to find front steel for it, which wasn't real hard, but it's not exactly a common thing out there anymore. This is very hard to haul around, so we actually have to lay planks out and winch it up on and winch it back off. Sometimes we wish it was on rubber just for that reason, that it'd be easier to haul around. Get so many people that look at it and you just aren't familiar with farm equipment that, what is that? What do you have on there? And, no, that's from the factory. That's what all of them had on them before you had rubber tires. That's exactly how it would have been in 35 or 37. Obviously repainted it. As close to original color as we can come up with. The color's darker than the Oliver 70 Oliver color that would have come out in 38, 39. A lot of people think it's dead on, and then we get people that think it's a shade off, but you're gonna have that with any collector of any tractor. So. People look at it, you know, just kind of not in awe, but that, you know, hey, it's original. It's got all the hood sides, electrical equipment, you know, the lights, starter, you know, all stuff that was really newfangled for 35 when they came out, you know. So it really is one of the first styled tractors, especially for Oliver.
Today on U.S. Farm Report, the USDA accelerates testing for E. coli in response to consumer and industry concerns. A bright job market for ag graduates is a stark contrast to many other majors. And meteorologist Mike Hoffman sees more unusual weather ahead for many growing regions.
U.S. Farm Report, brought to you by the 2012 Chevy Silverado, the most dependable, longest-lasting full-size pickups on the road.
Hello and welcome to U.S. Farm Report. I'm John Phipps. We haven't been talking much about events in Europe, but it may be time. Things that could ripple across the pond are brewing in Great Britain, France, Holland, and Germany, not to mention the ongoing dramas in Greece, Italy, Spain, etc. Events seem to be pushing toward another test of the viability of the euro as a currency. While the fallout is really hard to prophesy, any added stress to our global financial system is hardly welcome news. I think the sacrosanct EU Common Ag Policy is at great risk, and that would really roil grain and protein markets. So, watch the weather at home, but glance across the Atlantic occasionally. Time's off. Let's get started with the headlines now on Al Pell.
Thank you, John. The government is speeding up its E. coli testing process. Authorities say it will make tracking the deadly bacteria and subsequent recalls happen more quickly. The Food Safety and Inspection Service plans to start tracing possible sources of E. coli contamination as soon as there's an initial positive test. Currently, FSIS waits to start its traceback investigation until after a second test confirms the bacteria is present. USDA says by starting sooner, it will allow officials to find the source of the contamination, 1 or 2 days faster than the current method. It's graduation time at universities across the country. Unfortunately, many college graduates won't have jobs when they get their diplomas. The slow economy is partially to blame. But for ag students, the job outlook is bright. According to a new report from the USDA, between the years of 2010 and 2015, more jobs will be available in agriculture and food-related businesses than there are qualified graduates to fill them. And the jobs go beyond production agriculture.
Food production, fuel production, environmental issues around food and fuel, and certainly conservation of our natural resources. So what we are seeing is a very, very strong agricultural economy, while the rest of the general economy has had struggles, and that means struggles in terms of employment.
Hurt teaches at Purdue. He says job placement for Purdue grads in the College of Ag is usually around 90 to 95%. The mild weather in March and April is helping America's farmers get their fields planted at record or near record pace. For instance, 53% of the nation's corn is now planted. The average is 27%. In Iowa, which leads the nation's in corn production, the amount of corn planted jumped 41 points. In other words, Iowa farmers planted about 6 million acres of corn in just 1 week. Well, that's it for news. Meteorologist Mike Hoffman joins us now with the national forecast.
Well, big change from this past week. Looks like that zonal flow's gone, and we're going to be seeing some ups and downs in the jet stream and perhaps even a cutoff low coming out of the southwest. That could move slowly through the drought areas of the southwest into Texas, and that could provide some needed rain. But that's just a chance at this point. The jet stream is going to be interesting this whole week. We're starting with a ridge in the east. That's where all the warm air is, at least the mid-Atlantic southward. It's already turning cooler across the Great Lakes in the northeast. But you can see a widespread area of showers and even some thunderstorms from the Mississippi Valley eastward to the eastern seaboard. A little bit cooler back across the central and northern plain states, maybe some hit and miss showers and thunderstorms in the upslope region of New Mexico and Colorado as we start the week. Let's go to Wednesday then. We can see that cutoff we're projecting for the southwest Cooler weather with a trough trying to develop into the eastern parts of the country. For the Great Lakes and Northeast especially, it's definitely going to be a lot cooler than it was last week. Scattered showers in those areas. Stationary front to the south will cause some showers and thunderstorms down that way, and another trough trying to come into the Pacific Northwest. Now by Friday, it looks like the ridge holds that trough offshore in the northeast, or northwest I should say, and that's going to keep it very warm for the central and southern mountains and into the western plains. Cutoff may be causing some decent moisture though in the southern plain states, and then you can see that cool air with the jet stream diving into the southeast as we end the week, and that trough may linger a while, so we're looking for a fairly cool eastern half of the country as we head into next weekend. Let's go one more week out then. This will be May 13th through the 19th. Below normal temperatures, I'm thinking, with that trough in the eastern half of the country, most of it anyway. Near normal for the plain states and then above normal for most of the mountains all the way back into Washington and Oregon. As far as precipitation next week, we're going to go below normal with that ridge off to the west. That should keep things dry across the middle of the country. But east of that trough, pretty good chance for above normal rainfall from Florida and Georgia, which would be great news there, all the way up the eastern seaboard. A little bit of upslope area there and back below normal in the southwest. Now, as far as the 30-day outlook for temperatures, we're looking for above normal from Florida over to Louisiana and Arkansas, through most of the plain states and into the Four Corner region, below normal for the Pacific Northwest and also for the Great Lakes and the Northeast. As far as precipitation for the next 30 days, we're thinking most of the Corn Belt's probably near normal, but we're going to go a small area of above normal for the Ohio and Tennessee river valleys and parts of the Mississippi River Valley, John, but unfortunately below normal. Besides this rain coming over the next week across Texas, below normal then for the Four Corner region. And that area could obviously use some rain, as it usually could this time of the year.
Right. It looks like March could have been the best growing month I'll have all season.
Probably. So if you got past any freezes and frosts, you're probably looking good.
Christmas, this is really strange. Thank you, Mike. Spirit of the Heartland is next.
This portion of U.S. Farm Report is brought to you by Stratego Yield Fungicide from Bayer, the official fungicide of the Yield Bump.
You're watching U.S. Farm Report with host John Phipps, Farm Director Al Pell, National Reporter Tyne Morgan, and meteorologist Mike Hoffman. U.S. Farm Report, the spirit of the countryside.
Hi, Tom Parent here for DR Power Equipment. Is your driveway a bumpy road full of potholes, washboard, and ruts? Well, for lots of folks that live in the country, this is a normal ride. But it doesn't have to be this way. Not when you own a DR Power Grader. Tow the Power Grader behind your riding mower, utility tractor, or ATV. With each pass, the Power Grader loosens, redistributes, and levels surface materials. Potholes and ruts are filled in, washboard is smoothed out, and your resurfaced driveway is ready to roll.
Call 1-800-515-3718 for your free information kit. Learn how you can save $100, get free shipping, and try a DR Power Grader on your own property for 6 months. This is a limited time offer, so call in the next 30 minutes. 1-800-515-3718.
DR is professional power for homeowners.
Looks like our work is done here. I'm heading home. Need some help, ma'am? Oh, thank you. These things are heavy.
Built for work and everything you work for.
Hey, honey, glad you're home.
The Chevy Silverado, our most powerful HD yet. From fathers to sons, Chevy runs deep.
Case IH set the standard for improving power and fuel economy with SCR technology, while others were still trying to decide what the standard was. Only efficient power from Case IH is proven in the field 10,000 times over. And you'll find it in all our high horsepower equipment, from tractors to combines to sprayers. The world of farming is changing. Will you be ready?
I'm ready.
To learn more about how you can be ready with a proven leader, visit caseih.com/efficientpower.
At colleges across the country, kids are preparing for graduation in a variety of ways. In the volunteer states, some are rolling up their sleeves to help clean up the Tennessee River. Chuck Denny shows us the results in this report from the UT Institute of Agriculture.
There's mankind's debris, and then there's nature's debris. Either way, it blocks access, views, and potentially wildlife habitat along this waterway, Knoxville's Third Creek, which circles the UT Ag campus and flows into the Tennessee River. These are students in the College of Agricultural Sciences and Natural Resources. Today they're collecting trash and removing invasive plant species like privet and honeysuckle that clog the creek banks.
Getting rid of some of this garbage and just some of the dead woody stuff as well. So it's going to look a lot prettier too.
Lambert is a graduating senior, and so is biosystems engineering student Matt Minicheri. He hates to see trash in the water or along the shorelines.
Frankly, that's my drinking water. I'm a resident of Knoxville, so it's very important to keep it all clean.
Matt is joined by sophomore animal science major Kendra Flynn, whose dad taught her the importance of caring for our environment.
He's always been against littering, and he always has me go out and help him pick up litter along the road in front of our house. So it's always been really important, and this is just another way for me to help.
While the students had a busy day, Third Creek and the Big River aren't nearly as bad litter-wise as just a few years ago. Several river rescue projects have had a big impact here, and literally tons of trash has been collected that used to be under or near the water. Third Creek is a pretty place for a run or bike ride, or to wet a line. But downtown creeks are always a challenge to keep clean.
It's hard in the urban environments because you have so much of this hardscape. You know, you've got all the stormwater, the flashiness of the streams, you've got the litter.
Dr. Joanne Logan is a UT climatologist who teaches an ag campus class called Water and Civilization about how society deals with water supply issues. Several of her students were part of the cleanup.
And so one of the things we try to teach them is citizen involvement, citizen engagement, you know, taking ownership for the watershed that you live in.
Soon there are bags of collected trash and a big pile of brush to discard. New species will be planted here, including some weeping willows for shade. But for now, Third Creek is a much cleaner place, and all because of a volunteer effort to take back the landscape. This is Chuck Denny reporting.
Chuck tells us many of these students are also working on campus landscaping projects along with a university-wide recycling program. Next week, how and why Bob Utterback is trying to be half the man he used to be. His journey back to better health next week on Spirit of the Heartland. Up next this weekend, what graduation means to Baxter Black. He joins us next on U.S. Farm Report.
Miss any of today's show? Head to usfarmreport.com to watch the program online. U.S. Farm Report, the spirit of the countryside.
Bob Drake farms corn, soybeans, and winter wheat in southern Ohio. He said of these crops, disease management is most difficult in wheat.
This was a difficult year for corn and soybeans because of the wet spring. We planted late, and then because of the wet weather, there was a lot more pressure for head scab in wheat. It's much more susceptible to diseases than corn or soybeans. In corn or soybeans, you can generally have a good crop if you do little to it, but in the case of wheat, if you don't do something especially for head scab late in the season, you'll have a crop that's virtually worthless.
Drake says Prosaro fungicide from Bayer Crop Science offers a good solution for all of his major wheat diseases.
Prosaro provides both curative and preventative control of leaf diseases in wheat. We use Prosaro in our winter wheat, or apply Prosaro in our winter wheat in the spring, because Prosaro provides the best package of controls for fungal diseases in that wheat crop.
Growing wheat and barley is serious business, where every acre has to produce not only a quality crop, but a return on investment. Prosaro fungicide from Bayer can help. It's proven to offer powerful activity on leaf and head diseases, improving yield under all types of conditions, thus maximizing profit. Growing with Prosaro, it's like growing money.
Whether you wear a cowboy hat or a farmer's cap, if you've got cattle, you pay your beef checkoff. But do you know where it goes and who spends it and if it's worth it? Well, this is Baxter Black, and I found the answers on mybeefcheckoff.com. When I sell a critter, I'm supporting projects that keep consumers loving beef. And volunteers, beef and dairy folks like you and me, decide how the dollars are spent, and they're good at it. Each dollar invested returns a $5 bill, so get to know your checkoff at mybeefcheckoff.com.
Baxter Black on U.S. Farm Report is brought to you by Your Beef Checkoff. To learn more about how beef and dairy producers like you invest the dollars and promote your product, visit mybeefcheckoff.com.
It's May and graduation season is about to kick off. Like all parents, it's a bittersweet day for Baxter Black. He joins us now from his Arizona ranch.
Did you ever stop and think to yourself, this will be the last time? Well, today will be the last time I'll kiss my little girl. Tomorrow she steps into womanhood, confident, confused, comely, coltish, curious, charming, garrulous, fierce, and fearing. Who will take care of her? And who will she love? And what will she remember? And what will she forget? What star will guide her? And will she forgive herself when she can't always live up to her own expectations? Will she choose the right path when the easy path beckons? Will she discover the difference between pride and vanity, between courage and posing, between distance and privacy? Will she experience the joy of the golden rule, the heartbreak of losing, the satisfaction of an anonymous kindness, and the love of a child? Will the boulders in her life make her strong or break her spirit? And how will she handle random acts of fate, accidents, and blessings? Will she need to assign blame? Will she make messes or clean them up? Will she find passion in her life of the mind and the heart, a burning, a yearning, a calling, a cause, a reason to get up every day? And will she know peace of mind, contentment, and the solace of her own company? Will life be good to her? And will she always know that no matter what happens, I will always love her, and that she will carry the burden of my love even when we are separated by miles and years and harsh words and the vacuum of minutia even beyond life itself? So many questions. So I sit here thinking all these thoughts, knowing this will be the last time. She will be a woman in the blink of an eye. And as I kiss her cheek, I can only ask, where did she go? This little girl of mine. This is Baxter Black from out there.
Baxter joins us again in 2 weeks. Until then, check out his work online at baxterblack.com. When we come back, we're off to Michigan for Tractor Tales. Plus, we'll have our Country Church Salute. Please stay with us.
Whatever else you say, they are among the most selfless, the most noble, and productive citizens in the world today. While they feed an ever more hungry world, America's farmers, some big, many small, are beginning to see how they can help the 50 million food insecure people who live right here in our own cities and towns all across the nation, in our own backyards.
We're taking our own production from this farm and we're providing it directly to what we hope is part of the solution.
When you say food insecurity, I think of it in very simple terms. It just means that you don't know where your next meal is going to come from. And the people I've talked to who've dealt with that say that it's just subsumed their entire lives. And it's a tremendous amount of stress, and it's a tremendous amount of fear and sadness and shame, and it also is, hunger.
Hunger is one of the most solvable issues in our country. Unless you've experienced it or know someone who's gone through it or have witnessed it yourself, it's a little bit of out of sight, out of mind.
And we think that that doesn't happen in the United States because we see on TV a relatively prosperous country. But In fact, you know, it's everywhere. It's in every city in America, and it's in every rural community.
Now, there's something you can do. It's called the Invest an Acre program.
To challenge every farmer in this country to provide 1 acre of production to your local food bank, and that's easy to do.
The bottom line is, when you don't have enough to eat, you don't have enough to eat. And our bottom line as Americans is we believe everyone in this country should have enough to eat.
You just take the gross amount that goes to the local elevator and you tell them, write the check to the food bank, don't write the check to me.
If you eat food every day, you should care about the people who don't.
That's pretty simple, you know. I think that's basically all there is to it.
Visit investanacre.org.
Al's back with us now. What's our tractor tale this week?
John, we've got a rare tractor from Michigan. This 1937 Hart-Parr 70 was one of the last of its kind. The owner is proud to have it as part of his collection of antique tractors.
It's the last tractor made by Oliver with the Hart-Parr name on it. This one is the last year production. It's also one of the few probably around still with steel wheels on it, front and rear. That was an option throughout, but they also had rubber tires available in 37. Electric start option, which was available 35 through 37. This one we bought with the rear steel on it, and it had front rubber, so we had to find front steel for it, which wasn't real hard, but it's not exactly a common thing out there anymore. This is very hard to haul around, so we actually have to lay planks out and winch it up on and winch it back off. Sometimes we wish it was on rubber just for that reason, that it'd be easier to haul around. Get so many people that look at it and you just aren't familiar with farm equipment that, what is that? What do you have on there? And, no, that's from the factory. That's what all of them had on them before you had rubber tires. That's exactly how it would have been in 35 or 37. Obviously repainted it. As close to original color as we can come up with. The color's darker than the Oliver 70 Oliver color that would have come out in 38, 39. A lot of people think it's dead on, and then we get people that think it's a shade off, but you're gonna have that with any collector of any tractor. So. People look at it, you know, just kind of not in awe, but that, you know, hey, it's original. It's got all the hood sides, electrical equipment, you know, the lights, starter, you know, all stuff that was really newfangled for 35 when they came out, you know. So it really is one of the first styled tractors, especially for Oliver.
Today's Country Church Salute goes to Rosetta Baptist Church in Henderson County, Illinois. It's been around for 175 years. In 1836, 2 families settled in central Illinois from Virginia. The Coggill and Elliott families were instrumental in forming the church. Their first pastor arrived in 1837. The congregation met in members' homes for many years until they built their first church. The church was originally named Fall Creek Baptist Church of Christ, but was changed to Rosetta in the late 1800s. Pastor Jim Bennett currently leads the congregation. Congratulations to Rosetta Baptist Church. And as always, we want to learn about your home church as well. Salutes can be sent to the address on the screen. Stay with us. The mailbag is next.
Country Church Salute is brought to you by Farmers Feeding the World. Agriculture leading the way and feeding a hungry planet. Learn more. Give generously. Dream huge with us.
Anything? No. How about now? Nope.
The Chevy Silverado. With best-in-class 4x4 available V8 fuel economy.
Finally!
From getting there to getting away from there, Chevy runs deep.
Been here at the Chicago Board of Trade for 27 years out of my 31 years in the business. A lot of guys like myself get in here at 6 o'clock in the morning, look what's going on in Asia and Europe. And right here at the Chicago Board of Trade is where all prices for grains and oilseeds are determined for everybody throughout the world. and this is why I'm here. If you have any questions or like to know what I'm talking about, call me.
The new DR Versa trailer is the first trailer to take the back strain out of loading. The Versa trailer's boom lifts nearly 1/4 ton, and unloading's even easier. Firewood, mulch, and gravel dump cleanly every time. And in less than 5 minutes, it converts to a stake bed trailer for hauling loads up to 10 feet long. With its tandem wheels and independent suspension, the Versa trailer goes anywhere your ATV or tractor will go. The DR Versa trailer with boom lift. It takes the back strain out of lifting and hauling.
Call 1-800-429-0291 for your free information kit. Learn how you can save $200, get free shipping, and try a DR Versa trailer at home for 6 months. That's 1-800-429-0291. Online at drversatrailer.com.
DR is professional power for homeowners.
Time now for our weekly look inside the Old Farm Report mailbag. David Sowers disputes my assertion that cash is no longer king. We have entered a new investment era where the strategy is a return of your assets rather than a return on your assets, a strategy that has the least amount of risk with cash. And just because there are paltry returns on cash does not imply the king is dead. David, your view is widely shared, but I think it reinforces my point. Many are so afraid of losing asset value rapidly, they tolerate losing it slowly. In other words, they will pay a bank or the government to hold on to their money. This perception of universal risk may not be entirely accurate. Even if we have entered a new phase of investing, there are places to store wealth much superior to cash. The obvious one is farmland. Farm owners have been enjoying annual returns of 3 to 4% as well as 10 to 20% value gains. That looks like royalty to me. And there are other assets, gold, Apple Computer, or oil drilling companies. It is pervasive fear that has individuals, corporations, and countries like Norway hoarding trillions of cash assets. Now add in the possibility of even modest inflation, and the cost of choosing cash becomes painful. Okay, the king may not be dead. Things can change. But if interest rates are the wages cash can earn, the king is clearly unemployed. As always, we want to hear from you. Send comments to mailbag@usfarmreport.com or leave us a voicemail at 800-792-4329. Finally, this morning, a great opportunity to add a little more power to your farm, ranch, or homestead. We have teamed up with Yamaha for the Ride Away with a Rhino giveaway. One lucky viewer will win this Rhino 700, a side-by-side that's loaded with accessories including a windshield, sun top, cargo bed box, and a winch. There are 2 ways to enter. You can go online to usfarmreport.com and click on the Rhino banner at the top of the main page. You can also send us a postcard to P.O. Box 1062, South Bend, Indiana, 46624. Be sure to include your name, address, and a phone number. A reminder, we'll accept only 1 entry per person. The winner will be announced the weekend of May 26th. For Al and Mike, I'm John Phipps saying thank you for watching U.S. Farm Report. Be sure to join us again next week. We'll be working to do even better.
U.S. Farm Report is produced and distributed by Farm Journal Television.